2017 saw the release of the long-awaited Legend of Zelda title, Breath of the Wild, featuring a story that redefined what progression meant, where the player could do anything at any time, from fighting off Ganondorf's malice to
peacefully building up a town, one house and resident at a time. Nonetheless, Eiji Aonuma and his team would nurse slouches in fleshing out the world, and really bringing to life the decrepit and slowly recovering kingdom Hyrule, especially through their masterful usage of music.
the divine beasts and their story. One of the many ways the team was able to do this was through the boss battle themes, more specifically the themes played in relation with the area the boss battles take place in, the divine beasts. In the game's story, there are 4 divine beasts modeled after 4 animals: salamander, elephant, camel, and eagle, named in the game as Varadanya, Varuta, Varnaboris, and Varmeta respectively, each coming with their own pilots. The players awaken after a century-long restorative coma caused by the grave injuries in the fight against Ganon. They are tasked with regaining control of the divine beasts, as their original pilots had passed away in an attempt to defeat Ganon's minions, the Blights. When listening to each of the themes, players can hear 2 messages in Morse code, SOS and SAD, the latter of which stands for Search and Destroy, presenting the players with the saddening reality of what the champions of the divine beasts experience, while simultaneously, without a single word being said, revealing the shocking coldness of the 4 Blights who have but one mission. Aonuma and the team take the storytelling even further by eventually cutting out the SOS signal from all the themes, leaving the players only hearing the command destroy over and over again. However, the developers squeezed this hidden message for every drop they were able to, and even embedded the characteristics of each of the pilots within these messages. Starting off with the Varadanya theme. While the other themes are shown to have very specific characteristics taken from their pilots, this theme is shown to be almost unimportant in terms of subtle storytelling, as it doesn't have anything special about it. This almost normalcy in terms of timings and loudness are especially representative of Daruk's character, as he isn't like Rivali, who comes off as condescending towards Link and the player, and neither is he in love with Link like Mipha is. Daruk sits squarely in the middle of just being a friend of Link, and is shown to have almost no preferences towards anyone.
Oh, wait a minute! You must be starving after all that fighting. I know just the cure for that. My favorite, prime rock roast. Doesn't it look delicious? Why don't you dig in, little guy? Sorry. How thoughtless of me. I should have brought some for you, tiny princess. Next time, I promise to bring enough for everyone.
Thank you very much.
This reminds me of the time we first met. You were just a reckless child, always getting yourself hurt at every turn. Every time, I would heal you, just as I'm doing right now. I thought it was funny how, being a Hylian, you looked grown up so much faster than I did. I was always willing to heal your wounds, even back then.
As a new player starts their first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, the game very gently guides the player towards Zora's domain, home of Varuta and its champion Mipha. Though the Varuta theme isn't unique in the same way as the next 2 themes are, Aonuma uses the gentleness of Mipha as a characteristic of the Varuta theme by giving it the most build-up before the song starts. Another very neat thing Aonuma does to reassure new players is the remixing of the Zora theme that plays. The softer piano keys are almost identical to what the player would have heard within Zora's domain as they travel through the town of Varuta. Give it a listen. The third divine beast, Varnaboris, was piloted by the champion Urbosa, the proud leader of the Gerudo and an almost motherly figure to not only her town but also Zelda and Link.
Ah, well, you certainly got here fast. I should have expected as much from the princess's own appointed knight. She was out on a survey all day today, still as the sands now. So, spill it, boy. Have the two of you been getting along all right?
Aonuma and the team explore the prideful side of Urbosa's character through her theme by having her SOS signal last the longest, second only to Revali's length. However, the theme recreates the strong leading character of Urbosa in just a few opening seconds. You may have missed it, so let's take another listen. In comparison to the slow, haunting build-up of the previous two themes, Varnaboris' theme is almost an audiological jump scare, starting off so much stronger than any other theme.
Impressive, I know. Very few can achieve a mastery of the sky. Yet I have made an art of creating an updraft that allows me to soar. It's considered to be quite the masterpiece of aerial techniques, even among the Rito. With proper utilization of my superior skills, I see no reason why we couldn't easily dispense with Ganon. Now then, my ability to explore the firmament is certainly of note. But let's not, pardon me for being so blunt, let's not forget the fact that I am the most skilled archer of all the Rito. Yet despite these truths, it seems that I've been tapped to merely assist you. All because you happen to have that little darkness-sealing sword on your back. I mean, it's just asinine.
The first ever memory the player gets of Revali, the pilot of Varmeadow, is one full of pride and arrogance. The game represents this in the Varmeadow theme by having delayed the Morse code message the most out of all four themes. However, by juxtapositioning this with the loudness of the Morse code without any words, Aonuma creates a chilling cry of help. Here's some comparison. Without saying a single word, the developers produce a terrifying yet melancholic narrative of a prideful man who would never show weakness, yet at the end of his life he isn't begging for help anymore. All he wants is to get anyone to kill his enemy, all because he was too conceited to ask for help earlier. This idea of a person repenting for their mistakes in death is further solidified in Revali's final words, thanking and even praising Link for once, creating a perfect narrative almost completely upheld by the music and bookended with just one scene.
Well done. I suppose I should thank you now that my spirit is free. This returns Meadow back to its rightful owner. Don't preen yourself just for doing your job. I do suppose you've proven your value as a warrior worthy of my unique ability, the sacred skill that I have dubbed Revali's Gale! It's now time to move on and start making preparations for Meadow's strike on Ganon. But only if you think you'll still need my help while you're fighting inside Hyrule Castle. Feel free to thank me now. Or Never mind, just go. Your job is far from finished, you know. The princess has been waiting an awfully long time.
Breath of the Wild is probably better known for its exploration, unlocking chests, or solving frustrating puzzles that you thought you'd never be reminded of again after high school math class. But what really stands out to me is a very optional side quest called From the Ground Up. It is tasked by a Hylian man named Hudson, who, after building a house in Hatena village, moves on to start up his very own town, Terrytown. Forget saving the princess and defeating the bad guy. I have a whole town to build from the ground up. Despite just being a side quest, this story has a lot to offer in terms of exploring the union of different cultures. The music playing in the background now is what the Terrytown theme initially sounds like. This is important to note for later on, as this calming but unassuming soundtrack will go through a few changes as the player progresses through the side quests and invites more residents to Terrytown. Starting off, we have Hudson from Hatena Village, who originally worked in a construction company with Bolson and Carson. Yes, the company rules that everyone's names must end with son. This village is probably one of the first areas of civilization that the player will come across when exploring Hyrule. This area acts like a nice break from all the danger lurking around in the wilderness, and this feeling of safety and comfort really shines through the music. At the very beginning of the track, the use of xylophones gives the environment a very innocent and almost cutesy atmosphere, which contrasts with the more potentially dangerous areas surrounding the village. The xylophone and violins accompany an instrument that sounds like a bagpipe, which plays the main melody of Hatena Village during the daytime. There is a coziness to this village theme that's completely unlike any other area in Breath of the Wild, which is fitting, as this is where the player has the option to have Hudson build a house for Link. Having the player's house situated in a place with such peaceful music really creates a feeling of comfort unique to Hatena Village alone. Additionally, 2 of 3 of the composers of this track, Manaka Kataoka and Yasuaki Iwata, have also worked on music composition for Animal Crossing, which may explain why the Hatena Village theme so successfully captures the tranquil and almost peacefully mundane atmosphere of this area of Hyrule. Also, the fact that you can decorate your house in this game just like Animal Crossing is just a fun little similarity along with its comforting soundtrack. The first residents that you invite to build up Terrytown are the Gorons, Grayson and Pelison, from Goron City. And yes, every resident's name will end in son, as per tradition. They come from a place right next to a volcano, and the brass instruments, particularly the trombone, perfectly reflect the sweltering heat of their hometown. The lively beat gives off an optimistic and hard-working atmosphere, fitting to the Goron's lifestyle. The occasional sound of marimba adds a bit of gentleness in the midst of this jumpy theme, as if mirroring the friendliness of the Goron people, in contrast to their rocky and scorching living environment. Once this pair of Gorons are invited to Terrytown, they will open a gem shop. The second resident to be invited will be Ronson from Gerudo Town, who becomes wedded to Hudson later on. One of the key instruments to the theme for hometown is the sitar, a stringed instrument originating from India, and the dulcimer, a stringed instrument from the United States. The steady slowness of this theme and its use of percussion depicts the confidence and pride of the Gerudo people, while the occasional harp runs add an air of femininity to the overall track, as Gerudo Town is a women-only residence. The use of the wooden flute feels like a balance between the confidence they have in their physical prowess, as well as in the beauty and style that the Gerudo people take pride in. After convincing Ronson to move to Terrytown, she will open a shop selling a set of armor designed to protect the wearer from the desert heat. The third person to invite to Terrytown is Bison, a resident of Reiter Village. The beginning of the soundtrack only utilizes the piano, causing the theme to sound a bit lonely. This works with where the village is situated, as it is located on top of a tall mountain, which can convey a feeling of isolation away from everywhere else below. Despite this lonely mood at the start of the theme, there is a build-up of other instruments, as if indicating that there is more than meets the eye to this faraway nation in Hyrule. With the village being high up in the mountain, the use of woodwind fits in well with the frequent rustle of greenery, as wind tends to blow through the area often. The main melody kicking in with the balalaika, an instrument with a similar sound to the mandolin, creates an amicable atmosphere, as if this initial sense of loneliness is just the Reader people's idea of a peaceful lifestyle. When Bison moves to Terrytown, he will open a shop that specializes in selling arrows. The final person to join Terrytown is a resident of Zora's domain. The theme is very reminiscent of rippling water, and the frequent use of chimes and bells create an ethereal atmosphere to the area, iconic to the Zora people. The use of acoustic guitar in the soundtrack can really put the player in a relaxed and serene mood. After convincing Capson to go to Terrytown, he will officiate the marriage of Hudson and Ronson. After this, he will open an inn free of charge. Now that we've heard all the different themes of the cultures in Hyrule, let's see how those unique melodies and instruments combine together to build a shared soundtrack for Terrytown. This theme, much like the town that it plays in, builds and adds onto itself in progression to the addition of new residents from different areas of Hyrule. After inviting the Goron city's iconic trombone can be heard in the Terrytown theme. Once Ronson joins, Gerudo Town's dulcimer can be heard. The addition of Bison adds Rito Village's woodwind instrument, that being the clarinet. After Capson moves to the town, the Zora domain's stringed instruments are then included. And finally, the iconic bagpipes from Hateno Village join in the mix, creating a lively town theme suited to its diverse community and culture as the very basis of its existence. So, not only is Terrytown literally changing by getting new shops and new residents of different species, but the theme itself is built upon the very community that inhabits the location. With the wedding between Ronson and Hudson closing off this optional but very wholesome side story, Terrytown represents how the sharing of culture and diversity can create a lively residence, where everyone has a chance to start again and contribute to their community in their own unique ways. Breath of the Wild's ability to tell a story about community through its soundtrack alone truly highlights the importance of music and narratives, presenting how sometimes sound can express just as much as words can.